everybody. Brock and Salk Show, CL Sports 710, CLSports.com, Seattle Sports app, podcast platforms, and yes, 97.3 HD2 if you like the HD radio. If you got one in your car, you probably don't even realize you have one, but figure out how to use it because it sounds great and crystal clear, high definition. Nice win for the Mariners yesterday, and we'll start there, I think. Short show for us today. Sorry about that. It's not our choice. We didn't come in and say we're only working till 8:30, but it's sort of how it goes. Mariners have a early getaway day today, 9:40 first pitch in Cincy, which means 12:40 their time, which means pregame show is going to start at 8:30. So they're kicking us out. I swear we have nothing to do with this. They're just kicking us out.
What are you possibly going to do with that extra time?
Well, it's hard to say, Lyle. I mean, I've got a lot of options for what I could do today. I definitely don't have a 10 a.m. tee time at Chambers Bay. That's probably not it. So I'm sure I won't go down and play a little golf today on a, 68-degree afternoon here in Seattle. Now, that's probably not something I want to do here in April. So, Mariners schedule makers, please, let's make sure this doesn't happen again. I don't want to have to, be done at 8:30 and leave. They're throwing me out of the bed. They're basically taking away my key card. It's just awful. Just awful. All right, but we'll try to jam pack in the limited time we do have together. If you missed Daniel Jeremiah, he was awesome, and that's coming up here in a half hour. His second to last, his penultimate appearance with us before the draft, and then at 7:30, Kalen DeBoer is going to join us. Now, here's the thing on this. I'm going to guess there are some Husky fans that want like a grilling of Kalen DeBoer, right? People that are mad that he did what everybody else in college football does, this and that. I got to tell you, that's up to Brock if he wants to do that. I did not book this guest. I don't really care
you
about.
Booked him.
Huh? No, I had nothing to do with this. I did not book Kalen DeBoer.
I thought you were going to say, I did not book him so that we can.
No, I didn't book him at all. No, let me be very, very clear. I did not book him at all. Brock booked this, and I just want to talk to him about like Alabama players in the draft. So for me, he's like a pseudo draft analyst. I want to hear about, Tyler Booker, and I want to hear about Jalen Milroe. Like, I've got questions. I'm not going to ask him about leaving UW. If you guys want Brock to do that, get on Brock, because I don't care. So it's up to Brock. If he cares and you guys want to care, please talk to Brock about it. I'm just going to set that expectation right now. I don't care at all about Kalen DeBoer leaving. As far as I'm concerned, he did what every single other person in college football does, and I'm not going to hold him any more responsible for playing the rules of that game differently. Like, I don't hold him to any higher standard. So he can go do whatever he wants. I'm interested to talk to him about what Alabama has in this year's draft.
Specifically Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, Milroe, but also Tyler Booker, he's like the DJ conversation, as you know, kind of got my head twisted a little bit yesterday. Mm-hmm. And Tyler Booker's kind of moving back up near the front, even after the lousy combine. So I got to hear a little bit about that. And then I actually have another name or two that I want to make sure we ask him about, because he's got a couple players that have popped up, maybe even later in the draft. So yeah, that's coming up at 7:30 today. I got some texts that come. I love the texts that come in overnight. I just love, honestly, of all the things that happen on this show, the biggest honor for me are the texts that come in when we're not on the air for us. To me, there is no greater feeling of accomplishment. I mean, like, we get ratings, we get digital, we get all these things that measure our performance. And for the most part, I don't put a lot of stock in them. I mean, I do when they're good, and I don't when they're bad, like everybody else in radio, right? Like, when the ratings are good, we're like, oh my gosh, we're killing it. And when they're not great, we're like, system's flawed. So, like, whatever. I mean, the ratings are what they are. There's honestly no more thrill and feeling of accomplishment for me than when I get text messages from you guys at like 3 in the morning, 8 in the evening. Like, that tells me that you guys are thinking about the show when we're not on, which I think is amazing. So I love that. Thank you. And a few of them, I love when they come in during the baseball game. 714. This was at 11 o'clock last night. Salk. With Dylan Moore hitting .333 against righties this series, will you be writing a formal apology to the everyday Moore contingent? Please respond before he faces a righty tomorrow morning and my argument falls apart. I love it. Thank you. I love the whole message entirely. No, I probably won't be offering a written formal apology, at least until he does it against a pitcher who doesn't stink. I mean, like, the 2 hits, both against Nick Martinez. Did anybody watch Nick Martinez last night and go, oh, yeah, that's a major league pitcher? He was awful. Kudos to the Mariners. They took advantage. I'm not discounting the win, but that guy stinks. He's got a 6 ERA. He's not good. He's a reliever who they're trying to make into a starter, and he's not very good at it.
It's funny. He had some years where he was good, but he's lost a lot of his stuff.
He's not good. Where was he good? Where was he when he was good?
Texas, right?
I don't remember. I know he's been around like forever, but I couldn't remember where he was. Regardless, like, he's bad. Dylan Moore, kudos to him. He's on a heater. He looks great. But no, Dylan Moore having two hits against righties in this series, especially because once they brought in like a good righty, he had no chance in those second 2 at-bats. So,
Or, it's funny. He started in Texas, but last year he actually had a surprisingly really good year, which if this is who he was, I don't really know how. For the Reds.
For the Reds, he's not good. I don't know.
I took away the same thing as you yesterday. Watching him.
Very, very unimpressive. So, yeah, not all that impressed there. And then, I like this one too that came in. Salk, what do you average at the home course? I played it for the first time, and the 2 par 3s killed me. I shot 9 over. Well, dude, I'd kill for 9 over. I mean, that would be tremendous for me. I mean, I'm like a bogey golfer. I'm trying to shoot. 85 would be like a great day for me. So, I don't know. I'd probably shoot in the high 80s generally when I'm there. Let's talk about Cal, because he was the story of last night. And I did find myself thinking about that Cal-Julio combo as sort of these twin best players on this team, but who are so different and their paths are so different. And as I watch Cal tee off 2 more home runs, one from the right, one from the left, he's got 7 already on the season after an incredibly slow start. It's really remarkable and funny because all of his other numbers are like right in line with his career. He's hitting 218. He's like a 217 career hitter. The on-base percentage is right where it should be. He's just mashing taters right now, which is kind of fun. And then I think about Julio and his struggles, and he hasn't been bad this year, but he's certainly not been great. I would say if this is his down stretch, then Julio is limiting the damage in his downstretch, but obviously this is not like the player you're hoping Julio can be. I did find myself thinking about just the pressure and all we've talked about, how important pressure is and expectations and the weight of them. And I don't know if that's what's been the problem for Julio since his rookie year. I don't know. I can't tell you why it is that Julio is not quite, his numbers have essentially decreased each year and the consistency's dropped. I don't know why any of that is. But I did find myself thinking of the tale of 2 boys from Carolina who were drafted here to Seattle. You may know the story. One's name was Dustin Ackley. The other's name was Kyle Seager. And if you know much about the story, Dustin Ackley, number 2 overall pick, supposed to be the only can't-miss hitter in that draft after Steven Strasburg went number 1. And you know the whole story about how Yuniesky Betancourt had like the greatest series of his life. They swept the A's, and it kept the Mariners from getting Steven Strasburg the next year. But whatever. Throw all that away. The story was that they only drafted Kyle Seager because they bumped into him watching Dustin Ackley so much, and we're like, oh, this guy's pretty good. Let's take him. Plus, it'll be nice for him to have a friend. Cool. He'll come all the way out here with his buddy. Well, it turns out they weren't really buddies, but that's a side note. And the families didn't really get along that well, and that's another side note. And it also, I think, happened that when Dustin Ackley, Kyle Seager worked his butt off. Anybody who's listened to the show knows I'm not the biggest Kyle Seager fan as kind of a person, and he and I have issues, mostly stemming from things he said to and about Brock Heward. But that dude worked his tail off. And actually, I should say worked his tail on, because he built that butt. He built that strength. He built that core. He worked in the weight room. He got himself bigger, stronger to play third base, and he turned himself into a productive player from kind of an undersized second base, third base project. Huge credit to him. He had that, I've been passed over mentality, and it helped him just work and work and work, and it made him into a good player for a long time. Dustin Ackley had the exact opposite reaction. right? I think the pressure of being the number 2 overall pick, it got to him. Injuries didn't help, don't get me wrong. And I will forever believe psychologically, and I have no proof of this, but I'll forever believe that each time Dustin looked over and saw that he was being outdone by the guy he'd always been better than his entire life, Kyle Seager, I think it got in his head. I really do. And I can't tell you that there's any of that with Julio and Cal. I'm not making that suggestion, because the unique relationship of Ackley and Seager was, it was from childhood. It had gone on and on and on until it played out here. And as I said, some of the dynamic between them was not great. And that's not the case with Julio and Cal. Not making any of that suggestion. But it is interesting how, Julio's the chosen one, and he's having trouble turning it into being the superstar that he's projected to be. And Cal, not that he was an afterthought, but he wasn't supposed to be great. He was a good hit. He's like, hey, good player. Maybe he'll make it. Hit a few home runs. We'll see. But then the productivity in the minors was so great. He kept hitting home runs. I just remember when he was coming up through the minors, it was just like, another 3 home runs in the last 2 days for Cal Raleigh. You're like, is this guy going to make it? And everyone's like, I don't know. We'll see. Swing might not play. Well, he made it. 2 more home runs yesterday. Cal looks awesome. And sometimes it is amazing how the difference in the way you handle pressure and expectation will affect you drastically once you get to the big leagues. You want to hear one of Cal's 2 home runs? You want to hear maybe his sweet play that he made yesterday? Well, stick around. It's part of Need to Know next.
The John Schneider Show.
With Wyman and Bob.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Just in the case of Gino, you make an offer to somebody, and then later he goes and speaks and talks about how he felt disrespected. That's probably not unique either. No. He's entitled to feel how he feels.
Exactly. Yeah, very comfortable the way we handled it. You can't tell somebody how to feel. It's just like any other relationship. It's the way you feel. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Bull riding, the perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. It's the PBR Tacoma at Tacoma Dome, Saturday, April 26th and Sunday, April 27th. Tickets available at Ticketmaster and PBR.com.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet, but we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found at G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
Are insurance companies taking you for a ride? Literally? Don't let them destroy your financial future. If you've been in a car crash, Just Cause Legal is your weapon against greedy insurers. They don't care about you, but Just Cause Legal does. Time is running out. Get the compensation you deserve. Call 253-859-8899 now or visit justcauselegal.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Take back control and fight for what's yours. Meet your legal lifesavers. Just Cause Legal, fighting for you.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. The ice may have melted, but spring is the perfect time for a new roof. Call Techline Roofing. Take advantage of our easy financing and our spring special. That's TEKLINE roofing.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Nick bought a new guitar, a 62 American Classic Electric. Does he know how to play? No. But Nick's Empower investment account has performed well. He got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at Empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risks. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. This is a really, really, really good guitar solo.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
From groceries to home prices, the cost of living in Washington state keeps going up. Now, Olympia politicians are proposing the largest tax increases in state history. Don't be fooled. If taxes go up, we'll all pay even more. Washington needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Tell the politicians no by visiting www.affordablewashington.org. Paid for by the people for an affordable Washington. Top 5 contributors are Washington Alliance for a Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Amazon.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through April 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying internet package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Early termination fee applies.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
All right, well, Bryce Miller was pretty darn good yesterday. 5 innings, and he dazzled throughout. He was tremendous.
Rayleigh leaded first, 2 outs. The pitch. Strike 3 called. Another strikeout for Bryce Miller. He strikes out Jose Trevino, and that will retire the side here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 8 strikeouts for Bryce Miller. Absolutely brilliant tonight here in the Queen City of Cincinnati.
Yeah, that was the only 5 he went. More on that here in a couple of minutes, but didn't allow a run. Struck out 8. I mean, he was virtually unhittable. I mean, he's about as good as he could be yesterday. And then the team brought their bats, right? They scored in 4 of the first 5 innings. Cal Raleigh really leading the charge. Had a home run early from the left side of the plate and thought he'd add one later as well.
The 1-2 to Cal. Swung on, blasted left field. This is hit well. It is back. It is on its way, and it is gone. Cal Raleigh has done it from both sides of the plate. The 4th time in his career. Home run number 100 for Cal Raleigh. The 2nd fastest Mariner to 100 all time. Big dumper. Another big night. Unbelievable.
Yeah, you play that one, and at least there was some doubt about that in Gary's mind, whether it was going to go. The first one, there was no doubt. That ball was like 30 rows back. It was tattooed from the left side early in that game. So I guess that torpedo bat's working. Gets back. The team gets back to 500. They've got a getaway day rubber match today to decide the series. Brian Wu had been scheduled to pitch. He gets pushed back a day. Emerson Hancock called up. He will start instead against former Royal Brady Singer, who you may remember. And yeah, winning the road series would be a big deal.
I mean, you know, we're just getting started here for sure. But you know, tonight was a good one to get, and you know, to be able to come out tomorrow and win the series. tonight was our first road win, and hopefully tomorrow's our first road series. But these guys continue to do the job, and several stolen bases again tonight. Able to get on, get into scoring position. A couple of singles, we're able to get those runners in. So
it was nice to see, that the offense was not entirely last night built off the home run. Pretty good hitting against a pretty bad pitcher for the Mariners last night.
Here's the second thing you need
I'm
to
all
know.
torn up. Yesterday morning, I was totally ready to go all in on the Seahawks drafting an edge rusher at number 18. Kelvin Banks, I was all in. He's the best offensive line option. If they decide to go in that direction, sounds good. Then we talked to Daniel Jeremiah, and he just ruined all of it. Like, all right, so how do you upgrade, DJ? Who's the upgrade at 18 from your current edge rushers? And he's like...
No, to be honest, no.
Right.
I think there's similar facsimile to the guys you just mentioned. And that's why I've kind of labeled this draft as a starters, not stars draft. I mean, you're trying to go out there and find a number one starter, top of the rotation guy, and this draft has got a lot of threes. That's just kind of what it is. So, yeah, I mean, I think they can get guys you can roll through there, but I don't think you're going to be sitting there watching a game on a Sunday and go, why the heck aren't they playing this guy over that guy? I think they're going to be pretty similar to the names.
So that's sort of aggravating, right? So maybe take some of those names off the board, and then you're like, okay, well, tell me about Kelvin Banks. And he's like, no, I'd rather have Gray Zabel or Tyler Booker. And you're like, but I thought we had finally determined that Banks was better than those other two guys, and his reason for not liking him, I shouldn't say not liking him, his reason for downgrading him below the other two is like a kind of big concern.
I would say I'm more in the minority than in the majority on that one. I've talked to teams that see it the exact same way you just described it. I did not see any effort or strain to finish, and that's like just my kind of North Star when it comes to offensive linemen.
And it's not just that it's his North Star, it's his Baltimore background, which is the type of offensive lineman I think you're trying to bring in around here. So I don't know. I'm all torn up. As we're getting close to the draft, I am starting to settle into three main ideas. One, take Kenneth Grant, the defensive tackle from Michigan. Two, trade up for Jalen Walker. We'll talk more about that later. Or three, maybe it's Booker. I don't know. I haven't figured out which of the offensive linemen I'd actually prefer in the first round.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Let's just go through a couple of Mariner notes here. They optioned Gregory Santos yesterday, recalled someone named Will Klein. So that's not a great sign for Santos. He pitched 7 innings this season, has not recorded a strikeout somewhat famously, so hopefully he can fix whatever the heck is going wrong there because his stuff is too good for that to be the case. Bryce Miller. So we talked about how he wasn't feeling great in his last few starts. Got through early soreness on Friday, right? Then he was lifted after just 78 pitches yesterday. Okay, here's what he said afterwards.
I thought he was kidding. He's like, hey, you're done. I'm like, what do you mean? I think I threw 100 pitches last week or something. So, no, but it all worked out. They're playing a long game, so maybe next week we'll be back up in the 90s in Boston. So, yeah. Main things, I feel good. Fastball felt good. That's the best it's felt all season. So
yeah, I think that may have been the plan all along. And if he has been just dealing with some soreness, you try to baby him through it a little bit. By the way, for those that were upset that Luis Castillo stayed in the game in the 5th inning the day before, maybe that was part of it, right? Manager tends to have a little bit more information than we do. And if he knew that, hey, Bryce is going to be on a pitch count tomorrow, yeah, you can try to get through as much as you can with Luis the day before. That's everything you need to know. That's all we got time for. We could talk through Polanco batting lefty on lefty yesterday. Maybe we'll do that at 7:15 when we go through Need to Know again. That was fun. He did not lead. The question I was asked was, did he look better than a pitcher? And I would say yes. It was a better at bat than a pitcher would have given, but it was markedly different from your normal major league at bat. Not something he'd ever done before. DJ twisted me up into knots yesterday, and Brock as well. I think we're both now in what DJ called the fog of spring. I think I finally had a good sense as to what I wanted the Seahawks to do in the draft. We're exactly a week away, and now I'm totally torn up again. So you're going to have to listen to DJ, and maybe he'll tear you up too. It's next on Brock and Salk.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
The first real opportunity for Mike McDonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on draft day with General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Next Thursday, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports, the app, and your smart speaker.
All right, coming towards the end of the week here, which means you're getting ready to make your weekend plans. Make sure you're thinking about Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets luxury. World-class dining, great restaurants, awesome entertainment. And speaking of that, the award-winning summer concert series is back. Great artists, Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, POD, all this summer overlooking that beautiful Snoqualmie Valley. You can get tickets at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest? Well, it's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Goodbye, winter mud. Hello, Dream Yard. Spring is here. Synthetic Turf Northwest has you covered. No more soggy lawns or weekend yard work. Just green, clean, and ready for backyard barbecues, wiffle ball, or kicking back. Synthetic Turf Northwest, the area leader in synthetic grass, residential and commercial installs, plus turf supplies out of our Woodinville warehouse, and soon in Fife, right off I-5. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com today.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
You know, there's nothing better than having a big fish on your line, and you'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Make moments into memories. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now before you miss out on peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut in May and June. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. Oh, and remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
The noon hour of the Bump and Stacy Show is powered every day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
If you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law, where we help all types of injury victims like Cynthia, who was T-boned by a truck.
The airbag shattered bones in my hand. I called Warrior Injury Law and was very happy with the outcome. Rob has integrity. He cares about people. He cares about his clients. I knew that I could trust Rob.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review.
Does your yard need shade, privacy, or a little brightening up? Look no further than Big Trees. I'm Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. At our 30-acre location, there are thousands of trees to choose from and knowledgeable staff, including a board-certified master arborist, to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Visit the nursery and learn more about Big Trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Announcing the Million Hour Volunteer Rally. G here, join me, Safeway and Albertsons, and donate your time and skills to support local food banks and host food drives or fundraisers. You can win free groceries for a year and a $5,000 donation to your favorite hunger relief agency. Visit albertsons.com/volunteer to learn more. Find volunteer opportunities and log your hours. A million hours will help create food secure communities. Visit albertsons.com/volunteer.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Let's bring DJ, Daniel Jeremiah, in this morning. Good morning, DJ. We are 8 days away from the draft. How are you? You ready?
I'm doing great, man. I'm just ready for this thing to hurry up and get here.
Yeah.
This is what I do this time of year. So I get up in the morning, I take a shower, I go get my coffee, and I stare at my phone and go, who's going to call me with a lie next? And that's how I start my day.
You go private jet up to Green Bay this year? They get you a private jet for that?
Yeah. Me and about 200 friends on whatever United flight I'm on.
Yeah, a private United flight, right? Yeah, it's private in its own way. All right.
Is the hay in the barn? From an analysis for you in all your work and details, hay in the barn?
So I have my top 150 comes out, I believe, Monday. So I have probably 10 to 12 more, like just pop-up guys, like pro day guys that I'm going to speed date, between now and then. And then I've stacked probably half the positions right now. I have all my grades in, all my notes and everything. I've got half the positions stacked. I'll finish up stacking the rest of the positions this weekend, and then comes the merge, and it's actually one of my favorite things because now it's like, okay, now I've got to go literally who is 64 and who is 65, as I'm merging those positions together.
We've not spoken a lot with you about the edge position this year, and maybe it's partly because you look at the Seahawks and you're like, well, their edge is pretty good, right? I mean, you got 4 guys already on board between Mafe and Hall and Nwosu, and obviously they go out and
second round pick, free agent, resources, money spent.
Right, spend some money there in the offseason. So, like, they've spent a little money there and resources, but I would say that they've got all of those guys would be a wonderful second defensive end on a great defense, right? Mafe would be a great second option. Hall's a good second option at this stage. DeMarcus Lawrence probably a second option. Nwosu maybe even a third option. Like, they're good, so I don't need them looking at defensive ends in the middle rounds for depth. What about what might be there at 18? Is there a defensive end who could be available at 18 that would be an upgrade, a significant upgrade over any of the players they have right now?
No, to be honest, no. I think there's similar facsimile to the guys you just mentioned. And that's why I've kind of labeled this draft as a starters, not stars draft. I mean, you're trying to go out there and find a number one starter, top of the rotation guy, and this draft has got a lot of threes. Like that's just kind of what it is. So, yeah, I mean, I think they can get guys you can roll through there, but I don't think you're going to be sitting there watching a game on a Sunday and go, why the heck aren't they playing this guy over that guy? I think they're going to be pretty similar to the names you just mentioned.
Can we do the 4 of them that at least have some level of first-round grade to them? Because it's a position I've not necessarily profiled in my guys leading up. Some of them I hadn't seen in person.
You're going to just leave out Abdul Carter, right? Because there's no chance. Forget
him or
about it.
Jalen. So him or Jalen are gone. So the 4 that would
there's no way to even trade up into the range to get Jalen. Is that not worth it?
I wouldn't totally punt on the Jalen thing, There are some teams that are like, I put it this way. I've talked to teams in the 20s that say, do you think he gets to us? Like, so that tells me that there are teams out there that don't view him.
Would
as
he
a
be
perfect
worth
fit.
it at 18? Like, is that an upgrade?
Yeah, he's different. He's a different cat now. I mean, I did not envision that that's highly likely, but that could be one of those deals where you've got some extra ammunition. If he starts to drift in range, that would be a fun piece to add to the mix.
And he would be worthy of that?
I think so, especially in this draft. Yes, especially
talk
because
to me
when you're
about
going
him.
to forego, you can, to move up a couple spots, you can dump a 4th-round pick. Like that's in this draft. I don't know that you're going to be, you're not going to be missing a ton there.
Okay, talk to me about him.
Draft.
I
Who is
did
Jalen
not
Walker?
see Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah, so Jalen Walker he's an undersized guy who plays off the ball and on the ball. So they move him around. He wins from a lot of different entry points with how they blitz him and rush him. But off the edge, he is ultra explosive. Like he's a legit, like healthy, like low 4.4 40 type juice, like big time fastball off the edge, who jolts guys. He dominated the Texas game. Like he just kind of took the game over when they played Texas. You can spy him. You want to play against a team that's got an athletic quarterback, you can play him off the ball, spy him, and he just sucks people up, to perimeter. Arch Manning in that game tries to get us to escape, who can, Arch can really run, sucked him up easy. He's leadership intangibles at Georgia, will tell you, one of the best they've ever had from that standpoint. So how you use him and how you deploy him, yeah, that's going to be important. You have to have a plan in place. I don't think you're just lining him up on the edge every single snap and using him in that fashion, but I think he is a really, really fun chess piece in a league that's kind of trending towards a little bit of positionless amoeba type stuff to keep people guessing. This guy is a chess piece.
Or what about the other 3 or 4? Shamar Stewart, Donovan Izaraku from BC, Mike Green, and Michael Williams. That's sort of the next grouping of 4, and if I understand you right, none of them are necessarily an upgrade over what you got, but who would come closest?
Yeah, they're all, to me, like I have all those guys in the early 20s on my list. Good players, and in this draft you're going to see them go. But just different flavors. Mike Green is a polished rusher who didn't have much production before this year, but man, he took off and he's got some speed, he's got power. The level of competition is a little bit of the knock there at Marshall, but he dominated Ohio State, albeit it was on the other side away from their good tackle Simmons. So, but he went to the Senior Bowl, the famous rep of him against Josh Connerly from Oregon, where he dumped him with power. So he's got legit, pass rush skill, and he plays with some physicality.
But legit off the field issues too.
Yes, there are off the field stuff going back to when he was at Virginia, and that's teams are. That definitely is a factor in with teams. I have not talked to a team that said they'd taken him off the board, but it's something that's come up in conversation when his name comes up pretty repeatedly. And again, I don't get into that stuff, but if you want to know, you can Google it and look it up, and you can find all that information. So then we get Michael Williams, who is like a physical specimen. Both him, I would say Michael Williams and Shamar Stewart kind of group those guys together, where the production is maybe lacking, but first off the bus, I mean, just long, rangy, explosive guys. Shamar Stewart backed it up with his testing. He ran really, really well. He ran under 4.6 at 267 pounds. He's got some pressure. He just not a good finisher. Doesn't have great instincts to be able to finish, which results in a lot of win the battle, lose the war type situations as a rusher. But he's probably the most polarizing of all these guys. Some teams love him and they buy into the explosive traits. Other teams don't think the instincts will ever come around. So he's a polarizing guy. Michael Williams played through injury, got nicked up in the Clemson game early. Wasn't really kind of the same the whole way through. Some of his evaluation, he's dominant against the run, but some of his evaluation is a little bit of kind of buying what you hear versus what you see, because I've got buddies on that staff down there. Like when this guy's healthy, and they've had a lot of NFL offensive linemen there, like he's a problem. Like he's really, really gifted. So you're kind of buying a little sight unseen. There's some faith involved with that selection, but he's got a lot in his body. And then Izaraku is a fascinating one. You guys you'll dig this because I'm such a Padre homer, and I can't believe we made it this long before I mourned our first home loss last night.
Sad.
But, it was tough. But I had a great conversation. I was talking with AJ Preller at the ballpark last week, and we were talking about scouting, the Padres GM. And I was thinking of Izaraku because I was talking to a defensive line coach. he has a bunch of different ways to rush the quarterback. He's got about 5 different moves that he does, and it's very effective, and he's highly productive at BC. But doesn't have elite speed, doesn't have elite power. So I said, if you're scouting, if you're looking for a pitcher, would you rather have a guy with 5 good pitches or a guy with 2 dominant pitches? And he said, you always take the guy with 2 dominant pitches. It's Randy Johnson, fastball, slider, nobody can hit him. I mean, it's Mariano Rivera. Like, you'd rather have somebody that has those dominant pitches versus being kind of spread out with his arsenal. So that's kind of the discussion there on Izaraku.
Yeah. You can always teach him more pitches. Right. I mean, like, you can't teach a guy to be strong and powerful and all that. You can teach a guy more moves. You can't teach him how to be strong and powerful. All right.
But I also think people get in it. It happens in every sport. People try and get too cute. I got to keep adding to my game, I saw Dylan Cease has been one of the best pitchers in the league with 2 pitches, and this year he's throwing change-ups and cutters, and he's getting knocked all over the place. I'm like, you're a fastball slider, dude. What are we doing?
Yeah, it's interesting. The guys you just described sound a lot like Boye Mafe, to be honest. I mean, like, it sounds like that's kind of what they have. All right, so if you go away from defensive edge here in the first round, we'll come back to the same conversation we've had 100 times, and I asked this exact question of Matt Miller last week. I'll ask it of you. If you get to 18 and Banks, Zabel, and Booker are all on the board, what do you do?
Banks, Zabel, and Booker. I'm taking either Booker or Zabel. I don't know that there's a wrong answer there. It's just, what do you want? And I fully realize I think Banks when it's all said and done, is going to end up going ahead of the other 2. Like, if you're going to ask what's the order they're going to go, I'm just telling you how I would do it. But to me, it's just, I'm literally asking my offensive coordinator, my offensive line coach, do you prefer firm, powerful and firm inside, or do you want somebody that's a little more flexible and someone that can get out in space and move? And that's literally just going to be I would say that, look, you're making this selection. I'm fine with either guy. They're intangibles off the charts. I think they're both going to be really good players. What would you prefer between those 2 options?
DJ, I for some reason love Kelvin Banks. Saw him 3-4 times at Texas. I love that he just turned 21. I love that he's been an All-American, the Outland Lombardi Award winner. I love that he's 6'5" and an 8', 315 with 33.5-inch arms. I love that he could play tackle, slide in and play guard. He's played the best competition. I know a little nicked up with an ankle this year, but tell me why Banks, because Matt Miller, he had him, I think, what did he say, is number 8?
Said number 8. Prospect? He said if given that chance, he would run to the podium to select Banks.
What am I missing?
I think. Look, I would say I'm more in the minority than in the majority on that one. I've talked to teams that see it the exact same way you just described it. I did not see any effort or strain to finish, and that's like just my kind of North Star when it comes to offensive linemen. And when I see kind of a comfortability and an ease to finish plays, that's always been a major issue for me. So
what does that mean?
My
exactly?
hang up. So, like, think about this. The way I would describe it is, do you play with a shot clock? Like, I want to block somebody through the play, to the whistle, sometimes through the whistle. I want to finish guys. I don't want to just absorb them and go like, okay, I think the ball's gone. I think the ball's gone. We're good. Or I'm blocking a guy in the run game, and it's like, I think I've got enough. Like, there's just not that effort and willingness, and the strain is the best word. It's like, I'm going to go out of my way to strain to finish this rep. That's just been my North Star with offensive.
Is that teachable?
I think it's more innate personally. I've seen guys add a little bit of that, but I think a lot of that's more just kind of how you're wired.
That's your Ravens background right there, DJ.
Sure,
that's your Ozzie Newsome Ravens wiring.
I'll sacrifice a little bit of the foot quickness and stuff like that for that trait.
Okay, so we've had a lot of quarterbacks through. Shuck came through, Milroe came through. Those guys also, I think, went through L.A. and other places. Give me the dream scenario by round. Like, if you could add to this QB room, in a dream scenario for the Seattle Seahawks, which player, which round at the quarterback position?
Okay, so I'm trying to do it legitimately by guys who have a snowball's chance of being there with these picks.
Yep.
So if I'm looking at it, if I was Seattle, I mean, I would love and I know I don't think he would get there. But, like, I'm not a Milroe guy, but to me, like, you're picking 50-52 if he's there. Like, it's kind of a fun lottery ticket to punch. You know, you almost feel like you got a free pick there because you got those back-to-back picks. That would be one. To me, I'll say of all the options, looking at all their picks up to, the third round, I would actually say the last pick, 3rd round, 92nd pick. I would take the Ohio State kid with that pick. I'd rather take him with that least resource than to use a more valuable resource on some of the other guys. And that's assuming like Jackson Dart's not going to be there at 50. So just take that off the table.
Yep. Shucks, not shucks.
He must have seen that same tweet that you showed me, Brock, where he's just sort of giving the ball to the other team. Here, you take it. Hot potato.
There's also like the other thing.
Hot potato.
The other tape that circulated the other day on him was the combine, which was just kind of bizarre, where he was just trying to do too much. Like he was trying to like pretend like he was looking guys off and then just misfiring. Like just take your drop and throw the ball. This isn't rocket science, dude.
Hey, I shot you this tweet last night for me and Rappaport, and I'm just kind of curious where you go with this. The Jaguars' young GM, James Gladstone, confirms that his team, like the Rams, do not do top 30 visits for draft prospects. L.A., where Gladstone came from under GM Les Snead, hasn't done workouts, top 30 visits or school visits in years, and they have thrived in the draft. What do you make of this?
My ears perked up when I heard about this probably a month ago, and because somebody had told me the Jags are going to not bring in guys for 30 visits. But then I've kind of done some more research on that, and I would love for Reporter to actually take this to the next level and actually really dig into it. But they, I was told, look, they send somebody out into they have a guy that they trust, and I'm not saying it's not like a private investigator, but almost like a veteran scoutish type person that they shrink their board, the Rams I'm talking about, where they only have like 60 or 70 guys, very similar to the way the Patriots would do it, who they feel like they're really good fits like as players, and then they send this guy out to like their hometown, and he's meeting with high school coaches and doing background and meeting with the family. It almost feels like a baseball, approach. And they get all their information and get to know the kid through that means and through that process. And it stays under the radar. You don't have guys show up on lists that you've worked them out or taken them in. But this whole thing that like they just watched, they watch the fall and go on vacation and show up and draft guys. Like I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think they are doing more work that others aren't aware of.
I think it was Gladwell that wrote the book on some kind of bias that comes with some of those meetings that maybe not everybody in the building has, but all of a sudden if you bring assistants or coaches or others, and then all of a sudden they get this bias or they get this voice or they get this feel, can some of that to remove, to just send, as you said, this pro who cuts through some of that versus maybe some bias that can be created in the building?
Well, I worked with Phil Savage, who kind of set up the Baltimore scouting world there, and he used to use the phrase the fog of confusion. The spring is always the fog of confusion. Like everything's crystal clear when the season ends, and then from the end of the season to the draft, there's just a fog, of all the information, and but he did this, and it was at this All-Star game, and then but he always felt like if we could kind of anchor yourself off of the fall and then not stray too far off of that, you're going to make better decisions. So yeah, I think there's probably some of that to it. And I think, look, some guys come in and they can charm you, and you end up, they're salesmen, and in some ways they kind of sell themselves to you, and then you're like, what the heck how did I just ignore everything that I just watched, for the last 3 years? So I think it's working. The Rams have drafted as well as anybody. So what they're doing is working, and if Jacksonville all of a sudden turns it around, I mean, shoot, that's that's a lot of airline miles for the rest of us.
Brock and I have been hosting this show for 16 years, and during that time, I think we've predicted a grand total of 0 Seahawks first picks. None. Really? I mean, I guess if you go all the way back, I mean, like when they took Okung at number 6 would probably be the closest, and then Earl Thomas. I know we'd had some conversations about him, but the number of Bruce Irvins, James Carpenters, Jermaine Ifedis, even Devin Witherspoon, like the number of have drastically.
I feel like I talked to you guys about Witherspoon last year, though.
No, because we didn't talk to you.
We didn't have you.
We didn't have you. No, you're somewhere else.
I'm sorry.
The name had come up, but we were like, they're not going to draft a cornerback.
I had definitely mentioned him somewhere in the region.
I'm sure no one was listening. That's the problem. Anyway, so here's the question. Give me a totally off the board name that John Schneider is actually going to draft at number 18, because there's no way it's Zabel. There's no way it's Banks. There's no way it's Booker. There's no way it's Shamar. It's none of these guys. It's got to be somebody we've not mentioned. That is the pattern. Who will John Schneider actually draft at number 18?
How about Will Johnson?
Is that a corner?
Oh, boy.
It's a Michigan corner.
Salk said if T-Mac gets drafted, his head... Salk is working on the NBC affiliate live on television at the time. He said his head, like Ichabod Crane, will fall off
I said that people are going to be picking up little pieces of skull and brain like in Pulp Fiction. Like, you're the guy on brain detail. That's
for a receiver.
Yeah.
That's
I shot
for the,
Marvin in the face.
That's for the great stem routes, the golden runs, and the athleticism.
Oh, my God,
of
the stem routes. Todd McShay. He leverages his stem. Dude, I don't care how well he leverages his stem. Don't draft a wide receiver at 18.
So we go.
Take your stem somewhere else.
Yeah. How about All-American Will Johnson?
Will Johnson,
cornerback out of Michigan, in on a visit.
Who was
that?
Yeah, he's someone who was predicted to be like a top 10, some had as like a top 5 pick in this draft, coming into the year. Didn't play as well, got hurt. Then, there's a big, the knock on him when I watch him, like he's my 14th player. He'll probably maybe drop a spot or two. But good year, national championship year, from off coverage, he plays downhill. He sees it. He's got excellent instincts. At USC this year at pick 6. He just kind of, he's got really, really good vision and ball skills, and he's a big corner. The question was, can he really, really run? And that was my concern. Well, they said, his pro day, he couldn't run his pro day. They pushed it back to the middle of April. I'm like, I know the pushback, the pro day attempt. When guys can't run, you don't run at the pro day. Then we're going to push it back, and then magically you get to you know what? He's going to go through the positional drills. Maybe he's not feeling 100%, and then all of a sudden the draft's here, and the guy never ran a 40, which is where we are. And which is a reason why, in talking to some teams, there's a feeling that he could end up sliding a little bit. And you have, obviously, tremendous familiarity with him in the building.
Feels like if you were going to do that, what you should have done was take Mikey San Marcel last year somewhere, because he's really good.
Salk loves to do this, DJ. He loves, to play the day after with Sainer still.
Well, that's get out of here. That's not true. I like Sainer. I saw him play one time.
One time.
I saw him play in the national championship game. I said, draft that guy. That guy's going to be good. And guess what? He is.
That's true.
What is Salk has put a little twist on that famous phrase, right? Which is, that's why the rear view mirror is bigger than the windshield. Is that he just
no, I
flips
don't
it
do
around
that.
a
No,
little bit?
I honestly don't. That's not my thing, because I don't watch much college football. I don't pretend to. I honestly don't know that much about these guys. That's why I love talking to you.
No, that's true.
I'll
you know what? I'll retract that, Your Honor. You do. You make a spot judgment.
Yes.
You watch one game.
He's a blink scout. It's blink scouting.
I watched Bo Nix play twice, and as far as I was concerned, no chance.
Talk to me about a blink scout.
Yes. Blink scouting. We always talk about that. Like all my buddies around the league, he'll go, hey, like he'll be an underclassman, right? And be like, hey, I was watching Ohio State and blah blah blah, and I saw Cardell Lake 17. Blink scouting. I mean, he's a 67. He's a top 15 pick.
Carnell
Blink
Lake
scouting. Yeah, I mean, it's not Carnell. That's a safety. But what's that guy? Tate? Is it Tate? Well, I don't even know his name.
Tate. Yeah.
Tate. Yeah.
I definitely have done this over the years for sure.
Yeah,
but it's led me to Alex Collins. It's led me to Rashad Penny.
Okay, sure.
It's led me to JJ McCarthy. It's led me, unfortunately, what was the guy at Clemson? Taj Boyd. That one didn't work out as well. That was not the greatest snap judgment. That one didn't work out as well as maybe you'd hope. But
I saw Taj Boyd when he was younger, and I was at a Clemson game. I don't remember who I was scouting, but he was so fun to watch that I brought my young son a Taj Boyd Clemson jersey and brought it home.
I was pretty convinced.
Didn't age great.
Well, because he was throwing a Sammy Watkins, right?
That's where I was probably
and all those guys.
I think I saw him play Georgia with Gurley and all those guys.
Oh my God.
It was awesome.
Hey, last quick thing, last minute here. How much of the next 6, 7, 8 days is spent by teams taking players off the board? That we will get there on draft night. You will be there. You'll be as plugged in more than anybody watching. But how many guys that we've talked about come off of the board because of injury, off the field stuff, that we're just not going to go there?
So I talked to a team last night and went through medical, and I took 5 corners off the board, 2 safeties, 3 DTs. I mean, that's just an example. So I mean, that's not going to be universal with every. That gives you an idea of what's going on right now.
Great stuff, DJ. We got you next week one more time. Is that right? One more time right before the draft, day before?
When do you fly in?
I fly in Sunday. So
so we're talking to you from
what?
From Green
you
Bay.
need to get on the grounds 5 days early?
Yeah,
Get a fish fry.
Let's get a feel for the sense of this thing.
Little Appleton.
Do you know
fish
the
fry.
fanfare if I were to fly in?
The best is I got it. I have a full schedule with media stuff, but I had somebody reach out to me and they said, "I'm sure you have a bunch of paid marketing deals this week, but we'd love to have you on." And I was like, "Wait, hold on, there's paid marketing deals?"
I want one of those. Start with NetJets so I can be there flying in the private jet. All right, there you go. There's Daniel Jeremiah, the famous and incredibly successful Daniel Jeremiah. He'll talk to us again on Wednesday at 8:30, the day before the draft. So he'll be in Green Bay, and he'll be ready to go. All right, Brock's coming in next. Mariners win. Cal dominates, and Chris Canty had a thought about the Seahawks this morning that I think we should all take a listen to. It's next on Brock and Salk.
The Cal Raleigh Show.
Belted way out of here to right field. Holy smokes.
Every Thursday with Shannon Dreyer on Wyman and Bob.
Seattle has been nothing but good to me. I would love nothing more to play for one team my whole career.
Listen live on the Seattle Sports app or find the video on YouTube.
Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
Get up to $5,000 in local utility rebates, and Eastsiders save up to $6,000 with the Energy Smart Eastside program. Plus, Home Comfort Alliance is offering up to 10% off all heat pumps and air conditioning systems through April. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
No more waiting. It's time to go all in on that new car. And Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are the dealerships to make it happen. Why? Because they're all in for you. All in on the widest selection of new, used, and certified pre-owned vehicles with their combined inventory. All in on their amazing staff and incredible showrooms, and all in on setting you up with a test drive so you can take that car home the same day. Go all in, whether you're in the north or the south. Toyota of Kirkland and Renton got you covered. Visit in person today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
O'Brien. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through April 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet and security edge for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying internet package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Early termination fee applies.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us. In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury. The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain. Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free. I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for. To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions. 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Right now, have beautiful, ultra-efficient, clean technology windows installed and pay $0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 18 months. Only from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. And they'll even pay your sales tax. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Mother's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for moms and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Are you a small business owner who needs immediate cash flow? At Swish Funding, we have flexible funding options from $25,000 to $2 million. For the best rates and terms for your business, just one application to Swish Funding gives you access to our entire network of funders, with cash in your account in as little as 24 hours. To qualify, you must be in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000. Apply at swishradio.com and use code GROW. Swishradio.com, code GROW.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Brought to you by the Capital One Saver Card. With Saver, you earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining, entertainment, and at grocery stores. That's unlimited cash back on ordering takeout from home or unlimited cash back on tickets to concerts and games. So grab a bite, grab a seat, and earn unlimited 3% cash back with the Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Mark is sorry about just Mike.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
It's always a lot more fun coming in after a Mariner win, Brock, and that's what we got yesterday. Nice one, too. Really a Cal Raleigh-sparked win. Just doing it all, right? I mean, homering again from both sides of the plate. 5th time he's done that already in his career. Gets to number 100 on his for his career, which is great. 7th of the season. Hard to do 7 home runs and 10 runs driven in, but that's kind of where Cal's at right now, which is an oddity. And then just for good measure, it's like, oh, you know what? What if I make a sparkling defensive play as well?
There's the pitch. Swing a little tapper along the first base line, rolling along the line, hugging the line, backhanded pitch by Cal, and it's going to be in time. He somehow gets it over Hayes, over to Rowdy Tellez. What a play by Cal Raleigh. It was hugging the chalk halfway down the line toward first base. Barehanded the ball, backhanded pitch, over the shoulder of Hayes, into the glove of Tellez. One away, what a play by Cal Raleigh.
A little speed option, right? Pitch?
Yeah, pretty much. 18 speed option, sure. Quick little pitch over there. Cal was a good QB, right? No, actually not. But, man, he is one heck of a hitter. And these, whether it is, honestly, this torpedo bat or just confidence. Forget 51 home runs he's on pace for. He's on pace for 63 home runs now, Salk. 63 home runs.
Wow.
I think he's using that boulder on his shoulder about not being one of the top 10 intriguing Mariners and saying, really, Salk? You didn't think I was intriguing enough to hit 40, 50, 60 home runs this season, for crying out loud?
That could probably be it, yes. I'll tell you what. If he hits 60, I will apologize for not. I will, formally.
What about 40?
No.
No?
Nope.
What about, okay.
But if he gets to 60, Brock, even 50, if he gets to 50 home runs, I promise, I will apologize for leaving him off the most intriguing list, because that would be very intriguing.
I think we got to apologize a little bit, because when you talk about this start to his career, it is more, maybe even more remarkable than we give it credit. Seeing that graphic yesterday that he was the second fastest Mariner to 100 home runs, pacing ahead of Ken Griffey Jr. It was only A-Rod that got to that mark ahead of him, I believe, in games played. Wasn't it A-Rod? Why are you looking at me like that?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not looking at you.
No, you were looking at me like that.
I'm not.
Like that's out of space. Like you're wrong.
No, I thought it was. I'm not looking at you. You're fine.
Okay. I want to make sure I didn't write that graphic down. I remember seeing it one time. And, I mean, that's some pretty lofty air that you're sitting in.
Yeah.
Amongst all of the Edgars and the Griffeys and the A-Rods and, the terrific, incredible players that the Mariners have had, that you're sitting there second fastest ever, and you're the everyday catcher that plays every day, and you do it and you hit them from the right and the left. I don't know, man. I think we got to be careful to not just take what Cal does for granted.
Yeah, I hope that didn't come off that way, because it was never meant to take it for granted. It was just like what he does is what he does.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm set. I know he's tremendous. He is solid.
Stud.
He's a rock, and he's so freaking strong. I mean, some of the balls he hits for home runs, it's like Cal's kind of got two style of home runs. The ones like he hit last night where he just destroys the ball. And then the ones where he's fooled and he still is so strong that he just muscles them out like he did the other day one-handed. Like, those are his two style of home runs, and both of them are just awesome. Yeah. And, yesterday he just kind of took over that game, which was really fun, really cool, and gives him an opportunity to win a road series for the first time today. We'll give you a little more detail on that in Need to Know in a few minutes. But I wanted to play this for you because we're kind of too short show today. Okay, we're done at 8:30, so we're going to talk to Kalen DeBoer coming up here in 25 minutes, bouncing back and forth between the Mariners, a little draft conversation as well. And Maura threw this on the show sheet this morning. I thought I'd play it for you. This is Chris Canty on the show before us on Sportsmanlike. And he was going through teams that might surprise you by taking a quarterback this year.
Number 2.
Seattle Seahawks. The Sam Darnold deal is really a 1-year, $37.5 million contract. So drafting a quarterback in the first round for Seattle is not outside of the realm of possibility. It's clear, based on how the organization has built in a hedge for Sam Darnold's contract, that they're not quite sure who the real Sam Darnold is, just like the rest of the NFL world. Remember, Sam Darnold was lights out for the Minnesota Vikings' first 15 games, 16 games. We saw what he was in Week 18 against the Detroit Lions. We saw what he was in the wild card game against the Rams. Not great. People don't know who the real Sam Darnold is. So the Seattle Seahawks left themselves an out, and that out could potentially include drafting a quarterback number 18 overall. Not a lot of chatter around this, not a lot of conversation, but it's something that we can't take off the board. The Seattle Seahawks as a surprise quarterback team in the first 2 days of the draft.
I'd be pretty surprised at 18, Salk. I had a long conversation with the guy that you're hanging out with today. The Hitman and I were just, we were.
For those who don't know who that is, that's Brady Henderson, the ESPN
Everybody
reporter.
knows.
Not
We were
everyone
talking
knows
about
that.
yesterday.
No, not everyone knows
Not
that he's the
everybody knows
Hitman.
it?
No,
Well, okay.
no,
Sorry.
not everyone knows that.
Well, that's a them problem. Okay.
Not really.
So I appreciate you
No,
clarifying
I would
that.
disagree with that. I don't think that's a them problem.
We chopped it up for a while yesterday and had a whole bunch of fun doing so. And actually, it led me to one of my Blue 88 questions today, a comp for Jalen Milroe that I hadn't really thought about that makes a whole lot of sense. And I further do believe that the Seahawks could take a quarterback. I'd be very surprised at 18. But if the right guy falls at 52 or 50, if the right guy falls in the third round, if the right guy falls at the fourth round, even more so. So
What's your comp? Come back. Who's your comp for Milroe?
Oh, that's called a radio tease. You're going to have to.
Oh, that's for Blue 88?
That's for Blue 88.
Oh, my
brother.
gosh. I can't wait a
Well,
half hour for that.
You're going to
keep me in the dark? You have a new comp for Jalen Milroe, and you won't tell me who it is?
That's exactly right.
That stinks.
And you're going to like it, by the way.
I am?
I think you're going to like it.
Oh, my God. Why?
And it's just further evidence that you just don't follow me on Twitter, so that's fine. Or nor do you pay attention, because if you did, you'd have seen that on Twitter.
It was also
last
in our
night,
show
but that's
email.
fine.
It
Yeah,
was?
that's okay. Yeah, he doesn't read the emails. He's not on Twitter. It's the summer of Salk.
Well, you know
It's the
I'm not
spring
on
of
Twitter that
Salk.
much anymore.
Family leaves town. And what were you doing last night?
What do you mean? I had a friend over for dinner.
You obviously weren't reading our work emails.
I was. I had a friend over for dinner last night. I cooked dinner for myself and a friend of mine. Some pork chops and some Brussels sprouts. Yeah, I watched the game outside on the porch. I mean, I was busy.
On the love deck? On the love porch?
It was not a love deck really last night. It was more of a friend deck, I would say, than a love deck. That's interesting. So did Brady tell you that he called me while driving next to me on Friday? No. Totally bugged me out. Like, he called me because he spotted me on I-5. we were both driving home after golfing separately, and he's like, look to your left. I look to my left, and there's Brady.
Hey, what's going on here?
Very,
man?
very strange.
No, I would say, honestly, let me say this as concisely
It'd be surprising
as
at
possible.
18, right?
I can't remember a year. I honestly, going back to many, many years, Salk, I can't remember a year where there was a Seahawk possibility at quarterback in the second, in the third, in the fourth, in the fifth. You know, there have been many years where I'm like, well, maybe in the late rounds.
Okay.
Maybe in the late
I mean,
rounds.
that's all good, Brock. But what the heck are they going to do at number 18? Because yesterday, I felt like I came in yesterday morning, I felt like I knew.
You're right.
And now, like, my whole world has been spun upside down again. I think, just like DJ said, after all of the spin of, the spring, it's best to go back to what you thought earlier. So I'm going to go back to my first thought on what I think the Seahawks should do in the draft. Maybe I'll tell you what it is next. Maybe not. Maybe I'll hold it on till 5 days from now just to mess with you like you're doing with Blue 88. We'll give you everything you need to know next.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
A couple of pre-draft visits this week. What are you seeing?
If I'm Sam Howell, I see that headline yesterday that Jalen Milroe is in town for a visit. I'm kind of looking over my shoulder like, this is going to be go time.
Every day at 7:45.
Milroe, for me, he's the most intriguing of that bunch because of that plus skill set. This is a deep draft. Not a lot of filet, but there's some really good sirloin. And in the middle rounds, there could be some sirloin at quarterback.
Blue 88, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and let's talk a little bit about Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, the plan that absolutely 100% really does work. You will lose weight on this plan. You will. If you do it, you will lose weight. I promise. It's effective. It works. Lost 10 pounds in the first week. I ended up losing 35 overall in just 8 weeks, and honestly, it's not that hard because the food tastes good. And actually, one of the cool little features is you get a little something sweet at the end of each meal, so you actually do feel as if the meal is complete, as opposed to like, man, I want a little dessert, I want a little something. Nope, it's got that built in, which at least for me, made it much easier to get done. It'll adjust with your lifestyle. There's a million things to love about this plan, but also that you don't have to take any pills, injections, medication, anything like that. It's all just real food that you buy at the grocery store. It all starts with a 15-minute phone consult. Schedule one today at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Do what I did. Do what Ryan Rowan-Smith did. Go see Dr. Ryan Coogan at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. The ice may have melted, but spring is the perfect time for a new roof. Call Techline Roofing. Take advantage of our easy financing and our spring special. That's TEKLINE roofing.com.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. You know, like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places that I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like frames. Because you found a classic 70s concert poster. But when you went to get it framed, you realized the frame will cost about 4 times the amount of the poster. Which is actually absurd because no one will be looking at the frame, and if they are, then you severely overestimated how cool this poster is. But then you remember by switching your home and auto to Progressive, you could save hundreds and put it towards a classic 70s concert poster in an absurdly overpriced frame. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Are you working in the refrigeration industry? Are you staying up on current regulations? Well, Local 32 can help advance your career. That's right. Learn more at ualocal32.com. Again, that's ualocal32.com.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on seattlesports.com.
From groceries to home prices, the cost of living in Washington state keeps going up. Now, Olympia politicians are proposing the largest tax increases in state history. Don't be fooled. If taxes go up, we'll all pay even more. Washington needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Tell the politicians no by visiting www.affordablewashington.org. Paid for by the people for an affordable Washington. Top 5 contributors are Washington Alliance for a Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Amazon.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims like Sean, who was rear-ended in a car accident.
They're just easy to work with. They're fast. I like the fact that he had military service. I can see a lot of Marine in Rob. He's very in charge, really gets things done. But I didn't have to do anything. He offered me a settlement, had a number in my head, was nearly double that. I would refer absolutely anybody to Rob.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Eddie's! Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Nice win, nice team win for the Mariners yesterday. But if there was one guy you'd want to point to, I would say it was the catcher who really took over. Sparkling play behind the plate, made an unbelievable play on a little ground ball or a little slow roller up the first baseline like a swinging bunt. But what he did at the plate, home run early from the left side, and then later, why not from the right as well?
The 1-2 to Cal. Swung on, blasted left field. This is hit well. It is back. It is on its way, and it is gone. Cal Raleigh has done it from both sides of the plate. The 4th time in his career. Home run number 100.
How about that? Dan Wilson knows just how cool it is to see his catcher do it from both sides of the plate.
He is a talented hitter from both sides and a really tough at bat on both sides. And got to be a tough person to, try to defense, try to pitch to. He's just a guy that, is going to put a really good at bat and has a threat to go from either way. So when he does it in one game, it's pretty phenomenal. I think that left-handed homer was way up there. I think he just puts really good at bats together, and whether it's right-handed or left-handed, he's a force to be reckoned with in that lineup.
First one was a tape measure shot.
Yeah, it is
tattooed.
7 homers now. That's 5 in 5 games with that new torpedo bat that, remarkably he's only using from the left side.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't use it with the right-handed swing, uses it with the left-handed swing, and is just doing some serious damage. I sent you guys an incredible number yesterday. This team is, 9-9? 9-9,
yes.
And kind of dug themselves out of their hole, won 5 of their last 6 and everything else. They're 9-9. If I were to tell you that Cal and Julio are combined 1 for 37 with runners in scoring position, you mentioned Cal just 10 RBIs because he's hit almost all of those with almost nobody on base.
It's crazy,
so 7 home runs and 10 RBIs.
But that'll change.
It will 100%.
That to me just feels like
if
sort
anything,
of the luck of the draw.
If anything, it's a positive.
Right.
They're doing this, finding ways to win, scoring 4 or 5 runs, especially on the road, without those 2 guys at the top of the lineup doing the damage when the guys are actually on base to score.
Here's the second thing you need
All right, so
to
the
know.
other part of the story yesterday, though, is the pitching, and it starts with Bryce Miller, who was tremendous through 5 innings. I mean, the fastball was at 97, no problem.
You still worrying about him, Brock?
He had
You
8
still worrying about him?
strikeouts. Yeah, and Brock had been a little worried.
You worried about him, Brock?
But then he came
still
out after
worried?
5 innings, and I think everyone was like, uh-oh, hold on a minute. Here's what Bryce had to say.
I thought he was kidding. He's like, hey, you're done. I'm like, what do you mean? I think I threw 100 pitches last week or something. So, no, but it all worked out. They're playing a long game, so maybe next week we'll be back up in the 90s in Boston. So, yeah, main thing is I feel good. Fastball felt good. That's the best it's felt all season. So
I'm really not that worried. To me, honestly, that just felt like
long game.
Yeah, why not? If he's had a little soggy arm and it seemed like maybe he's now through it because obviously he looked tremendous yesterday. Yep. Why not give him a little bit of extra time? Why not take him out early? You got to lead. And I do think, Brock, this specifically helps explain why Luis Castillo was in the game a little longer the day before. And for people that texted in and were mad, oh my gosh, how could you leave Luis Castillo in there? You don't know what you're doing. Like, well, maybe he knows that the guy the next day is only going to be able to go 80-something pitches, and you got to make sure that, you get as much out of your starter the day before as possible, especially with the news that came out yesterday that it's going to be Emerson Hancock today as opposed to Brian Wu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think all of you kind of add all these things up, and he said it right there. We're just playing the long game. We're going to try to sustain as much as we can. We know how finicky injuries can be and how fortunate we were really a season ago with all the horses, other than Wu a couple times, being able to come out of that stable and perform. Going to do all we can, when we can, to make sure we set him up for 30-plus starts on the season.
So it's funny. Remember we spent all that time with Goldsmith on Tuesday asking him about the idea of Jorge Polanco hitting lefty against a lefty and whether he'd ever done it before. And, like, he's been a switch hitter his whole life. He's probably never faced a lefty. Well, guess what happens last night? They wanted his bat still in there for later, so they essentially sacrifice that at bat. And he went lefty on lefty. It was not pretty.
Jorge Polanco will bat left-handed.
Yeah, we were wondering about this. Polanco will bat lefty on lefty here. Here's the pitch. That's down low. Now, he's been switch hitting since the age of 12, so it's been a long time.
And right now, just can't swing the bat from the right side, so Danny leaves him in there to face the left-hander.
Here's the 1-0.
I was asked whether or not he looked better or worse than a pitcher. I'd say better. Better. It was a better at bat than you would get from a pitcher.
And it was the right move at that point of the game. Cincinnati had tightened it up. Maybe if you're up 5-0, maybe you pinch hit there or what have you. But, that game had tightened up, and if they'd gotten a tie or what have you.
It was before they tightened up. I thought it was, no?
Really? I thought it was in the later innings.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah. You're trying to check me today. I don't know.
I'm not trying to check
you.
you.
This is multiple times now. You're checking me. And I'm not going to say the thing about the prairie dog, so I'm not going to do
That's
that.
good.
But
That's probably for the best.
That's inappropriate.
Good. I think we're all happy about that.
Here's the third thing
I think
you
you're right.
need to know.
All right, so Brock, yesterday I was ready. It was easy. It was easy yesterday. Draft an edge rusher, right? And then DJ comes on. He's like, actually, none of the edge rushers are going to be any better than the guys you got. Like, okay. Well, so just draft Kelvin Banks. And he's like, doesn't finish, doesn't do anything like that, not physical enough. I go with Gray Zabel or Tyler Booker. And I'm like, geez, come on, man. I had finally made up my mind. So I'm now, I'm.
Now you're going receiver. Now you're going Goldman.
Absolutely not. Number one option, Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle from Michigan. That's what I'm saying today. I'm not committing to it, but I think I'm back on the original plan of get Kenneth Grant and then look for your guards in the second round. Okay. Second option, though, if it's possible, trade up for Jalen Walker. And I thought that was an interesting conversation with Daniel Jeremiah yesterday, and he said it might be a possibility.
There are some teams that are, like, I put it this way. I've talked to teams in the 20s that say, do you think he gets to us? Like, so that tells me that there are teams out there that don't view him
Would
as
he
a
be
perfect
worth
fit.
it at 18? Like, is that an upgrade?
Yeah, he's different. He's a different cat now. I mean, I did not envision that that's highly likely. But that could be one of those deals where you've got some extra ammunition. If he starts to drift in range, that would be a fun piece to add to the mix.
Yeah, I think his point yesterday about the numerous other guys, the 4 other defensive ends outside of Abdul Carter and Jalen is, yeah, they're starters. But you got starters. there's really not that much more they bring to
Right.
the table than the guys that that you've already have in on your depth chart, really starters and backups at that edge spot. But this kid's got a different fastball. I mean, this is 98 plus, right? He can bring it, and he'd be awfully fun for Mike McDonald to use in those different nickel packages on the edge and outside line. Just a versatility, and then throw in those intangibles that he said the guys down in Georgia just rave about.
Yeah.
Just kind of different. The same way that Kalen DeBoer, who's going to join us in 5 minutes, is going to rave. I think about his guys, especially Jahad Campbell and Tyler Booker in particular, who I've already asked him about. That's the kind of kid that Jalen Walker is as well.
All right, there you go. That is everything you need to know. And yes, just a moment here, we're going to talk to Kalen DeBoer, head coach at Alabama. And I mean, at least for me, I'm interested in talking to him about his Alabama prospects for the draft. Should we expect any other form of conversation?
That's where I'm going to go largely as well.
Okay.
I may ask him what he's learned in the SEC. Certainly ask him about getting Ryan Grubb back, and maybe what Ryan's experience was from secondhand from him.
Okay. But this is not about his departure from Washington or anything like that.
No. And I'm actually absolutely going to ask him about his daughter Alexis, who's having one of the best freshman softball seasons in the history of UW softball. I'm talking 15 bombs and hitting 367, and maybe who knows, right-handed bat that could be used for the Mariners down the road.
Kalen DeBoer next on Brock and Salk.
When you're on the pitch clock and don't have time for your favorite Seattle sports shows, listen to the podcasts on demand.
How about that? Unbelievable. Who would have thought?
Every hour, every interview, every look behind the scenes.
Dan Wilson's the new skipper.
This is a window. This is a time where we can get it done, and that's the hope. That's the vision for this club.
Find us on SeattleSports.com, the Seattle Sports app, or wherever you get podcasts.
Holy smokes!
Never miss a minute of Seattle sports, the home of the Mariners.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Mother's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for moms and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Just Cause Legal knows the value of standing up for what's right. If you've been involved in a car crash, Just Cause Legal is here to fight for you with an aggressive team dedicated to securing the compensation you deserve. Just Cause Legal makes the process as painless as possible. Don't wait. Time is critical. Get the help needed today. Visit justcauselegal.com or call 253-859-8899 and meet your legal lifesavers. Just Cause Legal, fighting for you.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
Shane Company engagement rings are expertly crafted to fit both your style and your lifestyle.
My wife's an artist and works with her hands. Shane Company helped me create a ring that's beautiful and sleek. She loves it.
Shane Company rings are crafted with care using high-quality materials, and we set each center stone by hand in our jeweler's workshop right here in our store. We also protect your ring, including the center stone, with our unmatched free lifetime warranty. Let us help you find your perfect ring, in-store and at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, how about this? 1 week before the NFL draft, the head coach at Alabama, Kalen DeBoer, joining us right now, and something tells me there'll be a few Alabama guys drafted this year for a change. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Appreciate you guys having me on. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, we're doing well. You know, when the baseball team wins, we feel good. When I look in the stats and I see Alexis with 367, 15 bombs, one of the best freshman years in Husky softball history. That's Alexis DeBoer. It's a good Thursday morning, Coach.
I appreciate that. Brock. It's good to hear your voice, and I'm proud of that too. Things are good. Enjoying life and everything that comes with it.
How was year one in the SEC, Coach?
It was what you'd expect, and especially coming in as a first year. Some ups and downs, and you're getting to know your personnel. You got a first year staff, so there's highs and lows. I think got a group of guys that have come together here in year two, continuing to keep the right ones here, and they're making the choices and decisions that you need to make, and putting the strain and effort into the work that matters most to make year two, go to another level. So continuity on the staff for the most part, the addition of, as you know, Ryan Grubb, and then everyone else really being here, and the players, a couple of guys that we'll talk about here in the show just getting drafted that will take away from some production, but we're excited about this next season.
Well, I think I got 4 on my mind that I want to make sure we ask you about, and maybe we'll start with the big fella, Tyler Booker, because his name keeps coming up, and I keep hearing the word nasty, physical, mauler. What are the strengths and weaknesses for Booker?
Well, this guy's one of the better and best leaders I've ever been around, and he can do it because he puts the work in, and so there's no hypocritical piece to it when he's asking everything out of the people around him. He has a mindset that you absolutely would love. Brock as the quarterback, you want those guys in front of you, and the ones that are going to protect you, and it's a personal thing if anyone's even getting close to his quarterback. And so he plays to and sometimes through the whistle. Love that about him, and he just has a mindset, and his effort and energy is contagious throughout the entire, not just offensive line, but the entire team. And so he's a guy, more of an interior offensive line, just thick, mobile, got some twitch, really good twitch to him. But he played some tackle for us too, a couple games, and did a really good job there. He could easily play inside and snap, so very versatile.
The question about him, Kalen, when we talk to all of the draft nicks that we've had on for the last month, and obviously the need there for the Seahawks and their interior line is, well, is he a outside zone guy? Is he fast enough? Is he athletic enough? He's massive. He's a mauler. He's everything you talked about. But does he have the skill set, the appropriate first step quickness and other things that these guys talk about to really live in this kind of outside zone Kubiak kind of world? What would you say to that?
Yeah, I think so. I think he showed growth last year, and I think that he still got his best football ahead of him. And I think he's a guy that can really adapt. He will pour everything into it. And I understand if there's limitations a person has, it doesn't matter how much you put into it. So you got to find the right fit. But I really do. I think he's got that mobility. He's got that flex and bend that you're looking for. So I think he's a top tier guy. In the draft as an offensive lineman.
This might be the first time in the history of sports radio that a duo led off with the offensive line prospect before getting to the quarterback prospect. And so we'll be turning in our sports radio credentials probably by tomorrow. I don't know there's actually a mandate that you start with the quarterback, so I won't let it go too far. Let's talk about Jalen Milroe. The question I think that people have about Milroe, because I'm fascinated. We all are. The running, everything else. I got to hear more about the passing, because I think the concern is this Anthony Richardson part 2? How is he different as a passer from what the league has seen here with Anthony Richardson in the last few years?
Yeah, I'll apologize. Like I know who Anthony Richardson is, of course, but from studying his film and knowing every detail about him, I can't say I do. But I do know, Jalen. I mean, when it comes off his hand, it comes off with some spin. It comes off hot. It comes up, he can throw the ball down the field. 2 years ago, he had a really good season throwing the ball, vertically down the field. And, one of the higher completion percentages, Penix, I think was right up there. They were in the top 2 or 3 together, in 2023. I think just continuing I think there is growth for him in just, overall, pass concepts, reads, and things like that. But the guy pours everything into it. It's just a matter of being comfortable. And I think, you're going to have that balance once in a while when you have someone that's such a great athlete like him, and figure out how you want that and what your offensive system is going to be. The best coordinators, can figure that out. And, you see that with Lamar Jackson and a few other guys, because Jalen has a superpower, and that's running the football, but he also I think has the capability of being a strong passer as well.
How good is he at running the football?
He's elite. And we did a lot of things just putting him in the gun and trying to give him as many reads, and then sometimes reads where you give the ball to the tailback, but also there was times where we just, emptied the backfield and picked a side and, checked our numbers and let him go. And, he was as good as any running back, I've really ever been around, just with the ball in his hands that way.
Kalen DeBoer here with us over like almost 19 years on the college football trail. It was really interesting over that time frame to see guys, and many of them bristled at being running quarterbacks. I don't want to do that. And guys that were super skilled at it because of perception and playing in the league and wanting to throw in the pocket and do all of that stuff. Is Jalen a guy that if the league said, hey, man, we want you to come in here and do some of this wildcat, some of this joker, be more than just a drop back quarterback? Does he have a willingness and a want to be and utilize that super skill set of running the football?
Yeah, I think that's a question actually I've been asked probably as much as anything to, what's his willingness to come in and, does he feel like he's got to be the guy right away and a starter? Or is he willing to learn? Is he, the role, early on? I everything I know about Jalen Milroe, he's unselfish. He'll do whatever it takes. He's excited about the next step and, just finding the right organization that he can mesh with, on a personal level, but also obviously the professional level. So, you get him in whatever role he can, and I think then that's where you make an impact. I equate it kind of like to guys who do special teams, and then all of a sudden that grows their role to maybe being on the field more defensively and offensively. I think that's what you can do with him if that's where he ends up going, is to an organization where, that's the starting point for him. But I think, growth for him is going to happen because he observes, he pours everything into it. He's going to, be there early and stay late. And so, whatever you ask of him, he's going to learn, process, and continue to grow.
What position does Jihad Campbell play at the NFL level?
Yeah, I think there's a combination of inside and outside, very much like we used him, inside backer. I've asked that question a little bit when teams start talking to me, and just kind of curious myself. I know what he was really good at for us, and I think he's got more room to grow from an inside backer, but he's got elite traits. He runs the football, and he's got instincts. He can go sideline to sideline. So, an inside guy that can come off the edge, and that's what we did with packages on especially third down, where we just wanted to cut him loose. He's got great length. So, passing lanes and so forth, when he's off the ball and in coverage is one thing. And even using that length when he's coming off the edge to, getting passing or getting the quarterback's vision, cause some problems that way. So the guys, all three of these guys that we're talking about are just phenomenal human beings. I really mean that, and Jihad's fun to be around, going to be an extremely hard worker, and just going to soak up everything that comes his way as people try to figure out that exact role for him. But he's an elite performer, a playmaker. He finishes plays. I think that's the thing. He finishes. He gets guys on the ground. He beats you, and then makes the tackle, makes the sack, whatever it is.
Is he an alpha?
Book is definitely an alpha, and I think, Jalen and Jihad are certainly that from a confidence, and they're not afraid to be out in front of the team. They will speak to the group. They are convicted in who they are and what they want it to look like. I think, he comes in and, he's the perfect teammate that way, that can grow to the leader you want to be, because he's not going to come in with some arrogance or stuff like that. And so, I don't think alphas have to be that way. Some are, but he's going to be the perfect teammate. There's no question about that.
The other name, as we're talking to Kalen DeBoer, the other name that has popped up here, and probably in a later round situation, is Malachi Moore. What should we know about him?
Yeah, Malachi, this guy has got passion. He got fire. He's played a lot of football here at Alabama, played it, for a couple different coordinators on the defensive side, and did it extremely well. Called the shots for us. He's smart, intelligent. He tested out very well. Don't ask me what those exact numbers were, but I know that they were impressive. And, he played through some dings this last season and still performed. He was a heartbeat. One of the guys that was the heartbeat, him and Jihad, maybe one or two other guys that really kept the whole thing together and allowed us to improve as the season's going along on the defensive side in particular. But he plays with passion on game day, but he practices that way as well. And so he just loves ball and everything that comes with it.
Hey, last thing here for you, Kalen, and thanks for taking the time and filling in a bunch of blanks. I'm just curious what Ryan Grubb's experience was in the NFL when you guys are having some sweet tea down there in the South and reminiscing about the year that was for Ryan and everything he experienced at the NFL level and with these Seahawks. What were some of his takeaways?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was anytime you do something new, and that was certainly new, I mean, there's always going to be great growth. And, I've known him for a long time, and that's what's going to happen with Ryan anyway. He's a guy that's always going to try to press to be better. And I think he's really used that experience, as I would have expected, to even be better coming here now. And, we honestly have been going so hard with everything, trying to put everything together. We haven't really kicked back and talked like that. But I can see just how he's operating again with, our team and with our staff. There's a high percentage that's consistent with how we've always done things, but there's these little tweaks, whether it's schematics or just, philosophical things that just continue to add to what he's already done. So, the pedal's down always when you're working with him and, pushing to be elite and be the best. And that's his expectation for himself, which then, allows him to be able to ask that of everyone else around him. So, he elevates everyone in our program, and he's done an awesome job here in these first few months.
Well, we appreciate it. Thanks for taking a few minutes with us here this morning and getting us ready for the draft. I'm totally confused and befuzzled as to what I think the Seahawks should do. I've gone back and forth here now like 100 times. Do they go defensive end? Do they go guard? Do they go? This whole thing, I'm torn up. But this has given us a lot of good information. And Tyler Booker's definitely a guy, as Jalen Milroe. I think all of these guys are real conversations here in Seattle. So thanks for giving us some of your unique insight into it. We appreciate it.
You bet. I appreciate you guys as well, and, be well. So thank you.
All right, there you go. There's Coach Kalen DeBoer, the Alabama Crimson Tide, Brock.
Yes, and it is kind of wild, right, when you think about Ryan Grubb, going down there and really the relationship between those two. And when he talked about Jalen Milroe and coordinators and the best coordinators get the very best out of them, I mean, that's what Ryan Grubb did for Michael Penix. And that's what, Kalen did for Penix in Indiana. And that's ultimately what is they put him back together in Seattle, what they got out of him. And his superpower was that left arm. And Jalen Milroe's superpower, and I'll get to it here in just a second, are his legs. And, a coordinator that can unlock that and just get the most out of him. Yeah, Ryan Grubb could have been pretty fun with old Jalen Milroe down in Bama last year.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Heward breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, buddy, let's do 3 good football questions. We'll start here. We asked Daniel Jeremiah yesterday to make a real Seahawks pick, meaning one that's completely out of nowhere that we've not talked about at all. What did you think of the direction he went?
Oh, he went corner. Michigan. Scares me. That kind. Do you have sound of that? Can you fire?
Let me see if I can find it while you're talking.
Yeah, that kind of. I mean, I get it, and I said to you last year, man, had somehow, some way, the Rams come up and traded for Byron Murphy, the pick for the Seahawks, more than likely, and it would have been a hard pill to swallow. Would have been the corner that ultimately went to Philly. They would have gone corner the year before, corner last year, because that dude from Philly was so off the charts from a grade standpoint, and it was so unique. They would have gone down that road. Will they do it in 2025? Here was DJ with us yesterday.
How about Will Johnson? Yeah, he's someone who was predicted to be like a top 10. Some had as like a top 5 pick in this draft, coming into the year. Didn't play as well, got hurt. then, there's a big the knock on him when I watch him. Like, he's my 14th player. He'll probably maybe drop a spot or two. But good year, national championship year, from off coverage, he plays downhill. He sees it. He's got excellent instincts. At USC this year had pick 6. He just kind of, he's got really, really good vision and ball skills, and he's a big corner.
You know what scares me, so we talk this a lot about Kobe Bryant. And I think Kobe's found a home, right, playing the safety position more so than the nickel or the corner, which he was a Jim Thorpe Award winner in college. Amazing. What scares me is when you're like a high 4-5 guy, playing that position, it's really difficult. Your margin for error is slim to none. And Danny went on to say, like, yeah, I think everybody wanted to see him run a 40. Did he run 4.4 at the combine? He's a top 10 pick. But he didn't run 4.4 at the combine, and he didn't run at the combine, and then he didn't run at Michigan Spring Day, and then he didn't run, and he keeps pushing it back, and he may not run. And what does Daniel say? That smells like a 4.5, 4.6 guy that doesn't want that number out there. I don't want to put that out there because he knows at the next level the difference. And you could say, oh, come on. If the guy can play, what's the difference between 4.5 and 4.6, 4.4 and 4.6? Well, you tell me, what's the difference between a 92 mile an hour fastball and a 98 mile an hour fastball? It's a difference. And it makes a difference, and it's a step, and every step in the NFL is a big deal.
I'm out on that idea.
That would
let's just move on. Question number 2. Just keep talking. We're done. Question number 2. I can't do it. Please don't draft an injured slow corner at number 18.
He's not injured. He's
coming off of injury.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I'm out. All right, Brock, give me your comp. Your new, no one's thought of it before comp for Jalen Milroe.
Taysom Hill. 6'2", 220. 6'2", 220. Both ran 4.4. You know what Jalen wasn't afraid to do? Run 4.4. Taysom Hill, out of college, ran 4.4. Taysom Hill, out of college, threw for 6,929 yards. Jalen Milroe threw for 6,000 yards. They both ran a lot. Taysom Hill, out of BYU, Salk, ran for 31 rushing touchdowns. Jalen ran for 33, including 20 last year alone. When you heard Kalen DeBoer, when I asked him about Jalen Milroe, there's these guys that don't want to run, Salk. And I get it, man. You don't want to get labeled this way. You don't want that narrative. You don't want that perception. I totally understand where a lot of it comes. But then there's other guys that go, yeah, Jaden Daniels, yeah, Lamar Jackson, yeah, I'll use these legs because it is my elite gift. And the fact that many folks in the NFL are asking that question to Kalen DeBoer tells me that many folks are looking at him as the Saints have maximized Taysom Hill. He can throw it. He can run it. He can be a nuisance to deal with on third down. He could be a nuisance to deal with in the red zone. If indeed he's willing to put his pads down, and it may require another 5 or 10 pounds. Now, will he block like Taysom Hill? I don't know. Can he catch it like Taysom Hill? Don't know. That's, I think, some of the intrigue that these teams do have. Did Clint Kubiak kind of like using Taysom Hill? Yeah. Did we bring up Taysom Hill in the Blue 88? We did, but he's in his 30s now. He's really beat up, and you were talking about an elite athlete. Yeah, man, there's some intrigue. I'll stand by what I said. If Jalen Milroe's there in the third round, that would be incredibly intriguing for me as a Seattle Seahawks.
All right, question number 3. We've talked about not passing on greatness. Who is the prospect in this draft who fits that best?
Running back. Our boy out of Boise State, and I really loved Ashton Jeanty yesterday. Did you see this that he put out on social media?
No.
Ashton Jeanty, humble. Covered him in the Mountain West Championship game, absolute stud. Twice in that game, right? One time in Vegas, last year in Boise, the year before in Vegas. It was kind of like the final cherry on top of, oh my gosh, this guy's unbelievable. Comes back to school and could have easily, not for Travis Hunter playing both ways, easily shoulda, coulda, woulda, won the Heisman this season, is the runner-up. Ashton Jeanty and his people yesterday just sent out a very simple tweet. I've taken the long way. I'm done with that way. If you pick me, it's simple. I'm coming to your franchise to do what Saquon and the Eagles just did. I'm coming to win big soon. It's tackle football. You know what I'm saying? I draft the guy that can't tackle. Thank you, Ashton Jeanty.
That's awesome.
How good is that?
That's pretty cool. I like it. I'm in. That's kind of fun.
I just kind of got goosebumps just reading that thing.
Pretty good.
And you know what? That is like the so anti-Ashton Jeanty because he's the most humble, came out of nowhere, went to Boise, didn't go play in the SEC for millions when everybody wanted to poach him. He finished what he started. He didn't need all the hype. He didn't need all of that. And, yeah, it's tackle football. You know what I'm saying? I draft the guy that can't tackle. Thank you for your time, Ashton Genty.
Good stuff. That is today's Blue 88. So, a question. I'm going to try to answer my own question here about Jalen Milroe and Anthony Richardson. I'll put Taysom Hill in there as well. Anthony Richardson, as a college passer, had really, as you've said, 1 year of playing quarterback full time.
Yep.
53.8 completion percentage. I mean, that's an abysmal number.
Yes.
In his other 2 years, I mean, again, 1 for 2, 50%. That doesn't count. And then in just 64 attempts, it was, again, 59%. So never cracked 60.
Taysom Hill in his career, by the way, 58%.
Yeah, Taysom Hill, 58 over the course of his career. But in his 2 years of really playing quarterback, 53.9.
Yep.
And a little better as a senior, 59.7.
Yep.
Jalen Milroe. In 2023, 65.8% completion percentage. Jalen Milroe in 2024, those are his 2 years as a starting quarterback, 64.3. I mean, those numbers aren't even comparable. I'm not saying that he's a great passer, but just looking at just that number.
Yes.
That's not bad.
No, in the year before, as Kalen said, especially vertically, he throws a really good deep ball.
You know what's really funny is he threw within 10 yards of each of the 2 years. 28-34, the next year 28-44. I mean, like almost exactly the same amount of yards. But yeah, the yard average was higher the year before. He did it on fewer throws.
Yes.
But like, dude, he's a 64%, 65% passer.
Yeah, lots of screens, lots of bubbles, lots of smokes.
Because they never throw those in the NFL.
No, I get it. But you also watched a Senior Bowl, as I did, for 4 days, and it was one of the roughest performances I've ever seen of any single quarterback ever. You watch at the Combine, and Titus and I were watching him, and he's an idea. He's Santos. Like, you just don't know. He didn't know where the ball was going. Like, he really, when he tries to rip intermediate stuff, it's like, whoa, I don't often know where that's going. But deep stuff, short stuff, pretty good, pretty effective, and a lot more effective than those guys collegiately.
All right, coming up next, it is time for another. Are you bringing in a special guest for your draft profile today?
I am.
I don't know that we've ever done this.
Never done
a special guest coming in for Brock's draft profile. You better hear it next on Brock and Salk.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
The first real opportunity for Mike McDonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on draft day with General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Next Thursday, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports, the app, and your smart speaker.
Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 Gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only, take up to $3,500 off an energy-efficient Bryan cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Bobby, who was hurt riding the bus.
The bus made a left turn, and the scooter that I was on overturned. Ended up having surgery on my back. So I knocked on the door of Warrior Injury Law, and I thought if anyone could help me with my situation, they could, and they did. They everyday people who work for everyday people. I would recommend this company over all the rest.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Mother's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for moms and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get his freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
Who's going to do you on the interview?
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Hello! Run, good deep ball, not a great pocket passer. Is this just Russell Wilson redux for Jalen Milroe? Is that the comp?
Much bigger than Russ.
Much faster, and probably not as good with the intermediate routes as Russ also. Correct. But still, that's kind of an interesting comp.
Roots,
I don't know. I'm a little interesting.
Roots.
Whatever. Oh, sorry. I'm from Boston. We still say roots. But I'm working on it. I've worked on that. I mostly say routes now. But
I'll tell you what, man.
On the East Coast, it's roots.
Yeah, I know it is. I'll tell you this. After chatting with Kalen, I too now am more confused. I don't know about. I'm flip-flopping between 1 and 2. I don't know what to do next.
All right. Well, it's time. You're not there yet, Brock. Don't worry. We've got a special guest in today for another Brock Ewert draft profile.
The Seattle Seahawks select.
This is Brock Ewert's draft profile.
You want traits? Check. You want a vocal leader? Check.
At the end of the day, you have to say, okay, what's best for the organization? Can you make people around you better, and can you bring people together?
Every day leading up to the draft.
Well, our special guest just listened to that and just heard that, and he was nodding along. I'll get to our special guest in just a moment. But he was nodding along to all of those things because that's exactly what left guard from the Ohio State University, the national champion, Buckeye, Donovan Jackson does. Number 3 on my list is interior offensive lineman Donovan Jackson. 6'4", 315. Salk, if you've listened to me the last couple days about Josh Connerly, about Kelvin Banks yesterday, you heard me say the same thing. 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. Donovan, 5-star. You know what I like? I like dudes out of Houston, Texas. Because I would never live in Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas is tough. To play football in Houston, Texas in July and August, that's some grown man stuff right there. You're talking 100 humidity, and you're a big man doing that. It's exactly what Kelvin Banks did. It's exactly what Donovan Jackson did. Donovan a little smaller than Kelvin and Connerly, just by an inch, but he's 6'4", 315 pounds. He's long, 33.5 inches. Usually you slide in and play guard. Usually you're the number one guard prospect in America as he was because you're a little shorter armed, right? Usually when you're 6'4", 315 with 33.5, you're a tackle. Donovan's not a tackle. He's a guard. Did he play tackle, slide out last year? Yes. Was he fine with it? Yes. But the dude is a grinder, is a growler, is a finisher, is a dominant player at guard. 4 years, 3-year starter at Ohio State, 4-year player. 53 games played, 40 starts. Grown man. Also jumped 9 feet. Also rep 225 32 times. I give you all these
the broad
measurables.
jump, right? Not the high jump?
Yeah, that was the broad jump, 9 feet. not the long jump. No, vertical was 32 and a half.
That sounds more right.
Again, 10 inches, 12 inches more than Salt. What were you, 22 and a half?
It's not about me.
22 and a half, 32 and a half.
Not about me.
What was G. Scott before he tore his Achilles tendon? He was probably north of 32 and a half inches. I can talk about all these things with Donovan Jackson. I watch the tape. I covered him. He moves really well. He mirrors really well. Everything that scouts want. He is off the charts as far as a draft prospect. I can talk about all those things. But G. Scott knows the human being. And not in an interview process, Salk. Not in a top 30 visit. Years and years and years and years together that his son was there with Jackson grinding all the way to, again, ultimately win a national title. So, G, talk to me about the person that is Donovan Jackson.
First of all, let's start off with this. If he's there at number 18 for the Seahawks, no question you pick up that interior guard at that spot. If the Seahawks get him, first of all, he's going to be a 10-plus year pro. Secondly, you bring up the fact, because sometimes you hear like, well, what about this player from this college? And what about this player from this college? Let me give you an analogy so that everyone can understand. Have you ever heard the old saying, that person is a 9 or a 10 in Seattle, but they are a 6 in LA, right? You've heard that before. Well, let me just tell you this. A 5-star at Ohio State, a 5-star that as a freshman played in all 13 games, a 5-star that ended up starting 40 games, right? At Ohio State, I'm telling you, is better than anything at Oregon, anything at UCLA, anything at a lot of these places. So not only are you getting a 5-star from a place, an elite institution right there. Now, besides the way he plays, right? Besides his measurables that you guys are talking about, because Brock loves that part of it, the last part is this. As a human being, as a person, as a leader, where he comes from, his parents, all of it. Remember I said this. If the Seahawks don't get that's fine. I get it. Watch the name Donovan Jackson. I'm putting my name on it. It's like NVIDIA stock, baby. That dude is going to be a dog for 10-plus years in the NFL.
Yeah, G may be a little biased when it comes to the Ohio State, as he should be. Yeah. As he should be, as his son has been there for 5 years and won a championship and everything else. As a non-biased observer of programs in all of college football, Ohio State is demanding. Ohio State gets you pro-ready. There's a reason the guys come out of that place, Salk, and are not overwhelmed by the NFL. Because entitlement, it gets cut off once you walk into that, what is it, Woody?
In the Woody.
In the Woody?
In the Woody Hayes?
It gets cut off. No matter where you come from, no matter how talented you are. Why? Because that's a 5-star, that's a 5-star, that's a 5-star, that's a 4-star. That's all they got are guys with measurables and talent and production.
So compare him at 18 to Tyler Booker from Alabama. That's not exactly, a small school. Or Kelvin Banks from Texas. Again, one of the premier programs.
Sark's done a great job of turning the entitlement at Texas. Remember early on, Salk, when we were doing these?
Yeah.
And there were years where it's like you don't draft kids because they're soft, because they're entitled, because it's not that kind of program. Sark has changed that. Sark's brought some Saban to Austin, Texas, and has transformed some of that. That is going to be a little different than it is out of Fargo, North Dakota. And that's not a shot at North Dakota State. And they have put out great pros, and they grind, and they cut entitlement, and they win at the highest level, at their level, and have done so year after year after year after year. But as far as iron sharpening iron, I don't know if there's any place that does it better than the Ohio State University.
I want to answer what Mike Salk said, and he asked the difference about Texas and Alabama and the Ohio State and some of those. I know you guys just had him on as a guest just now, but I'm going to say what the people are saying. Alabama ain't Bama no more. Just the same way that G. Scott ain't the G. Scott he was in his 20s. You feel me? One time my wife came to me and said, baby, you ain't the same as you used to be.
Well, you really transformed.
In a bad way. Sometimes you lose that funk. Bama ain't Bama no more.
Is that because you're spending too much time in your yard and your smoker?
That's right.
All right. We got to go. We got to go.
Wow.
Gee, thank you. He's
Once
running away.
He learned he was
already
20% Irish, his life has
everything
just
has
been
changed.
transformed.
That's another reason, too. Once I found out I was Irish, then things... Well,
That's when you started smoking meats, I think, and working on your yard. So
yeah, making shepherd's pie.
We gotta take a quick break because we gotta be on time because we're turning things over to the Mariners at 8:30 here, Brock. So
we are.
Yeah, we're gonna come back. We'll give you guys everything you need to know, and then we're gonna say goodbye. How about that? It's Brock and Salk, Sales Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2.
Geno Smith signing a 2-year, $85.5 million extension with the Raiders.
Good for him, man. He took advantage of a great situation.
Would you have paid Geno that much?
Yeah, my number was around 40. Listen, you got younger, you got cheaper with Sam Darnold. The thing that you don't know is if he's going to be able to repeat that performance that he had last year.
If someone were to say Sam Darnold is going to give you Geno production at way less money, great.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, I've been telling you guys for a while about Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and the reason I always do is because, well, simply it works. Right? I've been in the maintenance phase, decided to hop back on, lose a couple more pounds. I've dropped like 17 pounds in 2 weeks. It really is just amazing how quickly it works. It's easy, it's convenient, and the results are just obvious. And it'll adjust with your lifestyle, so you can kind of go in and out of weight loss mode or maintenance, depending on where you're at or when you want to hit your goals. But it's not really a yo-yo effect. You don't just gain weight back immediately because you got some real lifestyle, long-term habits that they'll teach you. Best part for me is there's no pills, no injections, none of that. It is all just real food that you buy at the grocery store, and then some awesome recipes and discipline that'll really help you lose weight while eating food that tastes good and not being hungry all the time. It's remarkable. I did it, worked. Ryan Roland Smith's doing it, works. It just works, and it all starts with a 15-minute phone call. Schedule it now at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. See if it's right for you. Go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Hi, John Curley here. It's a great time to upgrade with incredible savings on ultra-efficient heat pumps. Take advantage of local utility rebates up to $5,000 off on heat pumps. And Eastsiders save up to $6,000 with the Energy Smart Eastside program. Home Comfort Alliance is offering up to 10% off all heat pumps and air conditioning systems through April. Get both heating and cooling with an ultra-efficient heat pump in one unit. Plus, enjoy 18 months, same as cash financing. Call Home Comfort Alliance, the comfort people. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from.
Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Baseball's back. It's time your yard stepped up to the plate. Synthetic Turf Northwest is Seattle's go-to for pro-quality turf. Perfect for backyard batting cages, putting greens, or just a mud-free play zone for the whole family. We install the best, we supply the best. And we're local-based in Woodinville with a new Fife location coming soon next to Sportco. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com, where the grass is always greener.
Hey, Brock Hewart here, and you've been hearing me talk for a few months now about People Come First Construction Group. If you're interested in a backyard oasis, boy, do I have the event for you. PCF Group is launching their brand new luxury design center, and you can join me, some friends, and experts on April 25th for their community grand opening. The event starts at 11 a.m., but come say hi to me from 3 to 5 p.m. That day only, PCF Group will pay your sales tax on products like grills, hot tubs, patio furniture, and more. The new design center is an immersive experience for customers, showcasing how outdoor spaces elevate home living, relaxation, and entertainment. Food and beverages, they'll be available, giveaways, and you'll have the chance to view their state-of-the-art virtual reality system. You'll also have the chance to mingle with special guests, both current and former football players. So come on out. Check out PCF Group's new exterior design premier gallery grand opening event on April 25th. For more details, visit pcfgroup.com or call 206-992-0364.
Bob Stelton here for Asset Roofing, and they have got the perfect slogan. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset, and I witnessed this firsthand when I met Anthony, the owner, and again when I had him do work on my roof. Now this spring, replace your aging roof with Asset Roofing, because you're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Check them out at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Yeah, nice win for the Mariners yesterday. Seriously, that was a good win. We've talked about the sustainable wins versus the ones that have, maybe not looked quite that way. Yesterday was very sustainable. I mean, they were the better team, certainly had the better pitcher, had the better lineup, did everything you need to do. Cal Raleigh, story of the game, right? Hits his 100th career home run. That was his second of two on the day, one from each side of the plate. Made a tremendous little backhand shovel toss play as well. He was just doing it all, and it helped this team put themselves in a position to win a series today.
I mean, we're just getting started here for sure, but this is tonight was a good one to get, and to be able to come out tomorrow and win the series. Tonight was our first road win, and hopefully tomorrow's our first road series. But these guys continue to do the job, and several stolen bases again tonight. Able to get on, get into scoring position. A couple of singles. We're able to get those runners in. So these guys are really executing offensively and doing the little things, and when you do that and you can add on throughout the game, it really keeps the momentum in your dugout.
Yeah, they were able to do all of those things, but Cal was, the power behind almost all of it. And, he's unique in that he can hit from both sides of the plate with a tremendous amount of power.
I feel like, to me, it's more the right side that falls, just because you don't see as many lefties, and you can go days without seeing lefties. And being a catcher, obviously, mixed in off days, and maybe the off day is against lefties. So I was actually just talking to that about my hitting coaches, and just how important it is to stay on top of that, and, especially, in the cage, and try to stay with that. And we worked a little bit today, righty, just because, yesterday fell a little off timing. Just haven't seen a lefty in a while. So, it's tough to do that, but it's important to realize what you need to do to get ready for it. Whether it's standing in on bullpens or seeing velo off the machines, things like that, just to stay crisp, because you never know when you're going to get that ready at bat.
Well, he certainly did yesterday, homering from both sides of the plate. So, getaway day today, a little rubber match to decide who wins this series. It'll be Emerson Hancock. Originally it was going to be Brian Wu. In fact, they move him back a day. Hancock comes up. He will start today against former Royal Brady Singer.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
The other part of the day yesterday was what you got from Bryce Miller, who was tremendous. 8 strikeouts in 5 innings.
Rayleigh lead at first, 2 outs. The pitch. Strike 3 called. Another strikeout for Bryce Miller. He strikes out Jose Trevino, and that will retire the side here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 8 strikeouts for Bryce Miller. Absolutely brilliant tonight here in the Queen City of Cincinnati.
Yeah, he was. He was really great yesterday. And, it was the fastball, right? When he's got that fastball working. And I thought Angie did a great job last night on the broadcast. She made a couple of excellent points. One was that, look, Bryce, I know you got 7 pitches, but sometimes you got to remember, dance with the girl that brung you, and that's the fastball, and he used it yesterday.
Yeah, it's big. I've said it, multiple times, like, I pitch off my fastball, and that's what got me here, and that's my foundation. So being able to establish the fastball, that's always good. That's who I am, and that's how I get hitters out, is attacking with the heater and working off of it. And we had it today, so.
And somebody's got to talk to Adam Jude about yelling in the clubhouse like that, like he's a baby or something. Come on, Jude. Bryce was good. Came out after 5 innings, so I think anybody that was a little worried that, he said he was having a little arm soreness, this and that. I'm not worried about it at all. I mean, again, he's hitting 97. He was tremendous yesterday. The fact that he was lifted after 5, to me, much more precautionary than anything else. He seemed great. Not at all worried about Bryce moving forward.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
I am worried about the draft 1 week from today and what the heck the Seahawks are going to do, because every time I feel like I know what it should be, I'm like, somebody turns me around again. I was pretty well set that Kelvin Banks should be the first offensive lineman on their list, and then we talked to DJ yesterday, and it was like, okay, Gray Zabel, Tyler Booker, Kelvin Banks.
Banks, Zabel, and Booker. I'm taking either Booker or Zabel. I don't know that there's a wrong answer there. It's just, what do you want? And I fully realize I think Banks when it's all said and done, is going to end up going ahead of the other two. Like, if you're going to ask what's the order they're going to go, I'm just telling you how I would do it. But to me, it's just, I'm literally asking my offensive coordinator, my offensive line coach, do you prefer firm, powerful and firm inside, or do you want somebody that's a little more flexible and someone that can get out in space and move? And that's literally just going to be I would say that, look, you're making this selection. I'm fine with either guy. They're intangibles off the charts. I think they're both going to be really good players.
I'll tell you what, I'm starting to feel like you are going to be able to get the guard or tackle you want at 50, just based on the way the draft is. And because of it, I'm going to come back and say defensive tackle Kenneth Grant. Unless there's a way to trade up for Jalen Walker, Kenneth Grant's still probably going to be my choice for what I'd like the Seahawks to do at number 18. That's everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. We're done in just a moment here to turn things over for the Mariners. I mentioned that Angie had some great analysis last night. Did you guys catch the little bit they did where it was like an overhead angle of the plate, and it showed where Dylan Moore was hitting the ball on inside versus outside pitches? Never seen that graphic before. I thought Angie did an incredible job of going through it and explaining how you get out in front to hit the fastball and have to stay back a lot on the inside pitch, rather, and have to stay back a lot more on the outside pitches. And I thought that was really, really interesting. I was also thinking, man, watching this guy for a couple of games, the Ellie De La Cruz experience is a lot. There's a lot of great. The play he made going from shortstop into essentially deep left field the other day was, I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like it. The speed is insane. But then you see yesterday, I mean, he gave up a run with his error in the first inning and then cost them another run by getting picked off second. Like, yeah, that's a 2-run swing in what could have been a 3-2 game at one point instead of 4-0 or 4-1. So I don't know. Very, very, I don't know. There's a lot going on there. All right, Emerson Hancock's going to be back on the hill today. Day game, or morning game, really. Breakfast with the Mariners. 9:40 first pitch. Emerson Hancock against Brady Singer. Chance to win a first series on the road. And remember, this is what Goldsmith said. Like, this is the series you want to win. Put you in a much better position with a lot more margin heading into Boston and Toronto after this. So good luck to the Mariners today. I'm going to be off tomorrow, as is Brock, but a lot of reaction, a lot of draft prep. We'll catch you guys on Monday morning, as it'll be draft week. Like, hardcore draft week. 5 picks in the first 100. Going to be crazy. Catch you guys then, and I should let you know that until then, the hay is 100%, very officially, in the bar. See you, everybody.
Get to the chopper!
The 2025 NFL Draft.
The first real opportunity for Mike McDonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on draft day with General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Next Thursday, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports, the app, and your smart speaker.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity.
So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. Through June 23rd, get 400 megabit Xfinity Internet with free equipment and unlimited internet data. Plus, get 1 unlimited 5G mobile line included, all for $40 a month for 1 year. And ask how you can get a free 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply with paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Xfinity Internet required. Taxes, fees extra. After 1 year, rate increases to $70 per month. After 2 years, regular rates apply. Actual fees vary and not guaranteed.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. You can with Orchard. Listen to this. Orchard puts cash right in your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Let's review. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday number 1. You buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom! Payday number 2. Learn how much you could make with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
No more waiting. It's time to go all in on that new car. And Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are the dealerships to make it happen. Why? Because they're all in for you. All in on the widest selection of new, used, and certified pre-owned vehicles with their combined inventory. All in on their amazing staff and incredible showrooms. And all in on setting you up with a test drive so you can take that car home the same day. Go all in, whether you're in the north or the south. Toyota of Kirkland and Renton got you covered. Visit in person today or online at ToyotaofKirkland.com and ToyotaofRenton.com.
Hope springs eternal during the start of the season, but unfortunately, so do spring allergies. Hey, it's Dr. Ryan Stern of the Stern Sinus Center. Let us fix your ear, nose, and throat problems. Let's make your congestion, sinusitis, snoring, and allergies a non-issue. We can diagnose and treat everything from allergy testing and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced balloon sinuplasty. Come and see us in Federal Way and Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
Hey Cougs, Michael Bumpus here, inviting all WSU alumni and friends to the Cougs First Show and Career Expo, Friday, May 9th at the Maidenbauer Center in Bellevue. For education, networking, jobs, and Cougs swag. It's free to attend and all are welcome. Register at cougsfirst.org.
Your favorite Seattle sports show is available anywhere you go through the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center Proton Therapy. Full shows and interviews, exclusive video and articles from the home of the Seahawks and Mariners.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
This is Mariners Baseball on Seattle Sports.
Take every game with you on the go by downloading the Seattle